Hello and welcome to 2020. Thanks for checking back. I have a lot of videos to come up. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe, click on the bell. Make sure you get the notifications of the upcoming videos. This is what we're doing today. I got a couple requests for a little more detail on the secret room door. If you haven't seen the video already, I'll leave it below. Obviously, to access this door, we get in through here. I know somebody commented, well, that's a chain. They're going to think that's the door opener. Well, it's possible, but the reason I have a chain on here is because that's actually a chalk holder for the pool table. So it actually made sense. So, I mean, if they figure it out, they figure it out. So that's how it opens. So the question is how do you build this? And if you look at the other video, you can see I just talk about it real quick. I didn't really get into it on how to build it. But I did say that it is a door. As you can see from right here, it's just a normal door. Okay? And then what I ended up doing is I have a board that I used for the backing. And what I did is I built the sides here out of MDF. Now this is 1/2 inch MDF that's on here. Here's a piece of 3/4. So ultimately what I did is I measured this distance, which is from the door to where this molding would be, and that's how I made that thickness. So I did that, then that's 3/8 right there for the backer. So what happened is I screwed the backer onto these pieces to make this actual box, and then I used these Craig jig screws to screw the box onto the door. And as you can see, the door, there's about a 1/2 inch gap right here all the way around, because you want to make sure it clears this molding right here. If you can see this little trim molding that's on the door, so that gives that the ability to clear that. But then it also left me room. If I can get in here, you can see the molding is about 1.25 inches tapped in. So if you look at the molding from the front, it's actually a normal door casing would be over here, but this casing I moved it over so that it would cover in front of this edge right here. So you can see when you close the door, see how the edge kind of just goes right, it'll just fold right in behind there just perfectly, so that it makes a nice seamless thing right there. So this casing, I used the fancier casing because this was supposed to be a pool cue rack. I know a lot of people are like, well, how'd you build that? Well, it's kind of specific to the pool cue rack. So I mean, if you had maybe, because of the thickness of it, I mean, it's only that thick because of where the door is, because I use a normal door. Now obviously you could build a bookshelf or something like that, but then you'd have to use a different kind of hinge. My thought was that I put a door here anyways, why don't I just make it the exact thickness and have the door swing in, and then it'll work out perfect, because my intention was to have a pool cue rack, as you can see, and then as you can see it's a normal door latch here, so the handle's actually right in here. So what happened is I got it all built up. Obviously I just decided I wanted to put balls here, so all those are is just holes. I just cut holes through these pieces right in the center, and I just decided I would do 5 balls per shelf. I split this in half, and then this ends up being the pool cue rack. So what this is, this just holds the pool cues in. Same thing with this, it's just half circles cut into a piece of wood, and then down at the bottom, if you could see, there's more circles in there. So that's actually 2 pieces of this. One of them I put circles in, and so one of them I put circles in the top piece, and then the second piece is just glued to the top piece. So it makes a nice little thing for the pool cue to sit in at the bottom. Then I just made a fascia board for the bottom to raise it up, and then I also put right down here in the bottom, there's a wheel down in here, just a normal little swivel wheel, and that gives it a little extra support when you're rolling it in and out, because obviously this whole piece is kind of heavy. So ultimately that's pretty much it. I mean, I just took, so these are just strips, everything's the same width of what I measured here. I can show you what it is. Let me just put this down. So this is about 3 1/4 from the door out to the molding. So you just measure that out to the molding, and then you can tell exactly what thickness all these boards are going to be. So then you cut all these boards, all the shelves, all the insert pieces, screw them all together, nail them together. I think I tack nailed these or stapled them, one or the other, and then I painted it all white. And like I said, I just Craig jigged it. So after I got this whole piece built, I just screwed it to the door. I mean, obviously you could take the door down. I think that's what I did. I think I took the door off the hinges and laid it down, and then I could line this up right on the door and put it right where I wanted it. So it was perfect. And then what happened here is I just built a shelf up here to put some of my stuff, and same here with the moldings. I just brought all the molding down. So when you close it, it ends up just being nice and clean, just like that. So you can see this one I was a little low on. I could probably fix that. And then it comes all the way down to the bottom. Now somebody mentioned, well, why don't you put casing at the bottom, you know, floorboard. Yeah, I probably could have done that, but I kind of like the way it looked nice and clean there with just the piece at the bottom with the corbel. So I ended up just doing this. Now ultimately what I was going to do is cut a hole here for the door handle and then put like this billiard sign up here on there. And that way if I ever needed to get in there in an emergency, like if this broke or something, I could just pop this off and then there'd be a door handle right there. But I figure worst case scenario, I can always drill a hole if this breaks, and then I'll be able to get to the door handle right there. So that's how that goes. I just painted the whole thing white. And then as you can see, if we go back in here, I'll show you how the mechanism works. It's pretty basic, the way the mechanism works. I'll show you from the back side. So what I did here is, it's a normal flat handle. So in here is the other end of what that would be the handle. Then I just drilled through that, connected a cable with a couple eye hooks, and then drilled through here, and that's where the actual pull, you know, the chain is. So the chain comes out right there. So then when you pull the chain, what happens is, here, let me get on the other side. When you pull this chain out, you can see it just lifts the handle up, like that. So ultimately it just lifts the handle up and unlocks it. Same thing when you let it go and put it back in. So it literally just works as a pulley system, kinda. So when you go, and then if you're in the room, all you have to do is just lift it up and open the door. Same effect. So then I just use pinch clips on the cable here. So as you can see, this is just a normal interior door. So that's it. I mean, if you ever want to build one, obviously this is the easiest way to do it. Oh, hi. You want to say hi?
No.
Okay. Well, so this is the easiest way to do it. You could just build this casing and then just attach it to the door. Of course, the only problem I had to do right here is I had to bevel this little edge right here because that was catching on the edge right here. But that was just a matter of literally you could probably just sand that down a little bit. It's just about that distance. Okay, I'll be right there. So like I said, this is pretty specific to obviously a pool cue rack. I mean, if you had a little trinket, you could, you know, some trinkets or something, I guess you could do that. Or if you had, like I have a baseball here, you could make it big enough to do something like that. But obviously it's pretty thin doing it on a door like this. I mean, you only have 3 1/4 inches to play with because that's pretty standard on any interior door. But it worked for what I did, and you know, when it's closed, it actually, because the beam's right there, it doesn't show any light, so you can't tell that anything's on inside of there, so it kind of hides it very well. And like I said, this was just a little system of just a cable that you pull and it lifts the door handle up. And there you go. So then I put the 2 cue rack, or the 2 ball racks down here, so everything kind of fit perfectly, just like I planned it, and I got 1 shelf. So that's about it. Just do the moldings afterwards, right up to this edge, so it's nice and flush. And that's all you need. Then you got yourself a nice little hidden door right here that's just literally on a door. It's pretty simple. So if you like this video, I got a lot more videos coming up. Give me some ideas, put it in the comments. I got stuff lined up. If there's something you want to see, let me know, and we'll start off 2020 with a bang. And I appreciate all the new subscribers. If you have any other questions on this, leave them below, and I will link all the stuff in the video as far as the other videos, how to crack jig, stuff like that. Thanks a lot. Click the subscribe and take care. I'll see you in the next video.